Hello, everybody. It's Dusty Sage. I am here at Disney's California Adventure. We're going to do something a little different today because it is 100 degrees out here and I am slowly melting in the sun. But I'm going to take you through California Adventure, show you what's going on with Easter, the Food and Wine Festival, and then I'm going to plunge into Grizzly River Rapids because it is hot and I need a cool down. So let's journey into the park. First things first, there was a construction wall up here on Buena Vista Street. This is the old trolley stop, and you know, the trolleys haven't run since before the park shutdowns, but during the closure, they did install this charging strip right here. You see the metal that's in the ground, and that's so that the trolleys can charge right here on Buena Vista Street instead of back by Avengers Campus. And the goal was that they would charge there during the day and not have to go backstage and interrupt the guests in Avengers Campus. And yet they still haven't returned. Then a few weeks ago, a big construction wall went up right here that we're looking at now. But all they were doing was lowering the pavement. You can see that the curb here is a different color than the sidewalk next to it. And they installed a big lowered curb, a smaller version on the other side. That's been happening throughout the resort. Curbs have been widened and lowered around things like the Hub and Main Street and various places. It's for safety. Over here at Big Top Toys in the shade, you see they've got the Easter egg hunt. Usually it's up closer to 5 and Dime at the front of the park, but it's such a hot day, they moved them here underneath the bridge, and you can see they've got eggs here. You buy a map, and then when you find all the eggs in the park, you get to select a prize. I believe it's $9.99. They have one at California Adventure, one at Disneyland, and one in downtown Disney. What happens at Disneyland on a hot day? Well, it was busier this morning than it is now because as it gets hotter, more and more people go back to their hotels or leave or decide that they just can't go on. I saw rides that had very little wait that would normally have a long wait, and then some rides like Splash Mountain that had a very long wait because you get wet and cool off. I imagine Grizzly will have one of the longest lines today. Howdy, Walt. Walt and his pal Mickey here. Find this interesting. You know, Walt's got a suitcase as though he's just arrived here in California. Be the 20s, and he's got Mickey Mouse already, although at that point Mickey Mouse had not been born. He would have had Oswald at that point. But you do find Oswald from time to time here in the park. Wow, it is a scorcher, folks. I have walked all over Disneyland taking photos for the Monday update, and I've taken most of my photos for California Adventure as well, but I thought I really want to get a video in today. I know people will really enjoy these, and the last one was at Disneyland, so today we're doing California Adventure. But I'm not sure how long I'm going to make it, so we're going to go as far as we can. And then I'm going over to Grizzly, and I'm going to take you with me on Grizzly River Rapids. My phone is waterproof, I think. We're going to find out. For those of you who haven't been here in a while, months ago, they added Coco to Mickey's Filler Magic. It's actually a really nice little update. It looks great. The only problem with it is it makes the rest of the attraction feel old because the animation on that attraction is so ancient now. It looks like television style animation, not even that good. You notice up ahead there's a bunch of construction walls. Again, all they're doing is sidewalk work. So one by one, they've done each section of this street. They're all the way down to the end now. It's not taking them long, but they're just filling in the pavement is all. As far as we can tell, it's just sidewalk work. I take a little loop back here. The first little booth for Food and Wine Festival is back here. There's only one this year. Seems like Food and Wine Festival has been significantly scaled back this year. Not as many booths, not as much food at each booth. Each booth has 2 savory items, usually a dessert type item, but not all of them, and then a whole bunch of beverages. I do like some of the food. It's not my favorite year. So short wait right now. We'll see what they have here. They've got the glazed barbecue pork belly. That's pretty good, but the first one that I had was just all fat. And then I tried it again. It was pretty good. And then the Euro-inspired flatbread. They have a margarita with mezcal. That's not bad. And then you can buy wooden cutlery here if you want to use your own stuff and not throw away a ton of plastic forks and knives and spoons. That's a good way to do it. When we did it, we ended up using a lot of plastic cutlery for sure. And Natalie Kipper, our merchandise maven, she brought her own fork, knife, and spoon, and cleaned it off with the napkin each time. That was pretty smart. I should do that. I really should do that. Today they're going to have Marcus Meza. He's a candy maker from the Disneyland Resort, and he's going to be showing people how to make candy. Although on a hot day like this, I wonder what he could make that wouldn't melt on stage. You can't make chocolate on a day like this. Many hard candies and things would not set. You wouldn't be able to make fudge. I mean, you could make cookies maybe. I don't think there's an oven up there. One of the problems I had with Food and Wine Festival this year is I don't eat dairy, and everything this year had dairy in it. There was one vegan option for me, and I'm not vegan. It's just I can't have milk products, and they just didn't have really anything for me. And they won't make any substitutions. So in the past, if you wanted to have them hold cheese off of a sandwich, just hold the cheese off, they would do it. And now they won't make any substitutions, which means I can't have very many things. One of the items is mostly vegan, although it has a slice of cheese. And since they won't hold it off, it's not vegan. And I can't have it. Go this side of Hyperion Theater, you'll see that the letters for Hyperion up at the top of that sign have been removed on this side. So as you look into Avengers Campus, you don't see Hyperion listed. But when you're looking out of Avengers Campus back towards Hollywoodland, you do see it. Although I don't know why they would have even bothered doing that, because we are still in Hollywoodland. And it would be appropriate to be seen from either side. You can see the Hyperion letters up there on this side. No show going on here anymore. Of course, that was canceled. And it'd be very hard for them to bring a show back soon because they're using the entire queuing patio as overflow seating for the PYM or PIM test kitchen. Is that how it's pronounced? Not a big Marvel guy. So this whole patio here has been turned into seating, and there's just not enough seating in Avengers Campus. I don't know what they would do. It's what a shame to think that they're leaving an entire theater empty just so that they can have some seating in its queue. Not the smartest. You're gonna have to figure that out. Even if they turn the animation building, parts of it, into indoor seating and project Marvel stuff up on those screens or something, and I would hate to lose animation, but they really need to figure that out so they can bring shows back to the Hyperion. Guardians here. I still miss Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. While this is a super fun ride and the music is great, it still doesn't have the quality of Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, which was just so immaculately designed and so many incredible things in there. But young people today probably don't know the Twilight Zone. 60-minute wait. This park is much more crowded than Disneyland. A lot of rides at Disneyland, so they eat people up. And in this park, even with fewer people, it feels more crowded because, quite frankly, this park was not built with a lot of rides. We're walking through an area right now called Adventures Campus, and it's not my favorite part of the park. It's very hot. Not a lot to do back here. There's some characters to be seen. There's one ride, Spider-Man, with a long, long line. There's one restaurant and bar, the test kitchen. That's it. A couple little character show type of things. That's all. It takes up a huge area. And before, when it was Bugs Land, there were, I think, 4 children's attractions plus It's Tough to Be a Bug. So I believe that's altogether 5 attractions. And then they took all of that out to build nothing. And they replaced the Tough to Be a Bug building with the Spider-Man ride. So you got one ride in the place of 5. It's not great for a park which already had too few attractions. That's my beef with this land. There's the test kitchen. It does have some very clever food. It's not that bad. It's not that great, but it's not that bad. I do try to go there every once in a while. I'm just going to swing by the merchandise booth here to see if I see anything new. Not really. Still trying to sell those little spider bot things. You put them on your hands and then it allows you to beat other people that don't pay. So if you want to get the best score of the day, you have to pay. Wait over here, 55 minutes for standby. So Tower of Terror had a longer, or Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout had a longer line. Walk in really quick to look at the Tesseract here. At night, this lights up. And then there's the warping of the pavement over here. You can stand there and look like you're being sucked into the ground. And over there is the garden that Doctor Strange does his show in. It's on the other side of that wall. And happens at night. It's very hard to get in there and see it. I just touched the railing here to see how hot it was. It is very, very hot. So you're probably hearing me breathing really loud. I'm huffing and puffing my way through the park after a long day of walking. I've already walked maybe 11 miles today. I checked earlier. The last time I checked, I was over 9 miles, and that was when I was still at Disneyland. Long way to walk on a hot day. Spider bot down here. Watch out for spider bots. He's a runaway. Backing up. That is hysterical. Bye, little guy. Little bit of shade here. I'm gonna walk on the shady side. Interesting. They have something for the Eternals in the garden here. It just says history is not as you know it. Scan here to learn the secrets of the Eternals. Oh, we can't do that because we're on a video, but I will make a point to come back and do that sometime. There is a new character that's been spotted. At night, you'll see the Moon Knight character from the new Marvel show on Disney+. We had one of our staff review it, and they really enjoyed it. But then, this week, there's a second character from the show, which is actually the same character, in a different form, and he comes this gate over here. Actually, it's out from over there, and he walks across here and stands here in this nothing of a spot. Like there's nothing to see here, no good background. And that is Mr. Knight, his alter ego. So one of them in a superhero outfit and the other in a white suit, but both of them with their heads covered and glowing eyes. Now there's a secret for getting cool on a hot day without waiting in line for a ride. I'm going to take you over and I'm going to cool down for a second. These are the first booths on the main parade route. We have Nuts About Cheese, Uncorked California, and the Berry Patch over here. One of my favorite desserts is over here. It's the macaroon. It's a Snickers macaroon, and it is very, very good. You see it right there on the sign. Delicious. On this side, it is not delicious. Is the peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese. It is absolutely disgusting. I have a friend who works here in the park, and he says there are people that throw up after eating it. So don't order it. But they also have next door this delicious treat. It's called the Chocolate Hazelnut Crunch. It's a round ball of hazelnut, and it's dipped in chocolate and delicious. I was taking you back to show you a cool-off spot, and I didn't take you, so I'm going over there now. There are people in my cool-off spot, but I can already feel the cool breeze because all that water coming down the hill creates a little bit of a breeze, and it's moist and it's cool. And so when you get right over here, it's about 15, 20 degrees cooler right here than it is just steps behind me on the parade route. I know it's loud, but it's peaceful. This is the kind of sound that'll make me fall asleep. Nice and cool. If they sold hammock time, I would rent a hammock out. I would pay $20 a half an hour to sit in a hammock right there by water's edge. You know, there was a short period of time where they were renting cabanas out inside the parks. It's a horrible disaster. It was a terrible idea. It looked awful. We're charging top dollar to have people rent cabanas like you were sitting at a swimming pool, but the difference between Disneyland and a swimming pool is when you're here, you've paid a lot of money to ride rides. You don't sit in a cabana all day long. And the whole point of Walt Disney building Disneyland was to have a place where the whole family could enjoy themselves, so Walt wouldn't have to sit on a bench watching his daughters ride the carousel in Griffith Park. So the whole idea of putting those cabanas in was stupid because it meant Disneyland thought that we were going to have the parents sitting in a cabana all day while their kids ran around and rode rides. Awful idea. Didn't last, thankfully. We complained about it a lot. I'm going to take you just a little way into Cars Land. Not a lot happening here in Cars Land. It's still kind of fun sometimes to take a look, so we'll go in just far enough for me to show you Mater's ride twisting and twirling here. That's Mater's. We got here just in time for it to stop, but I love the music. And there's barely a wait right now. There's two giant turntables, so this one does move a little bit quicker than you might suspect. What do you think the wait is on this one right now?
10 minutes.
20 minutes?
10.
10. That's not bad at all. And the queue is pretty shaded, so if you're looking for something where you're not waiting in an unshaded queue, that would be a good one for you. We're going to take a secret passageway out of here. Bye-bye, Radiator Springs. You're too hot for me to go all the way back there. This is a little beverage snack stand, Fillmore's. But if you walk behind it, there's a little cut through that takes you to the Pacific Wharf area. It's actually back by the child care services, and if you need help with your child, spot to change them or nurse, that's where it is, hidden right here behind Ghirardelli. I have to tell you, one of the things I've learned doing Mice Chat over the years is how to spell Ghirardelli. Never in my life knew, but when they opened this, I had to write about it so often that I finally learned how to spell it. It's a good place to go if you want a soda, ice cream soda, particularly good. It's the best ice cream in the resort, definitely. They'll also give you a little square of chocolate. Everybody looks so tired today. Usually when you're at a theme park, everyone's bouncing around, but even the kids are. This cute little girl. Oh, there she goes, but she's tired already. 3 steps. That's all we got. They have a mix of Asian foods here. I do like this place, Lucky Fortune Cookery, and they have a pretty good menu there. And then over here, I'll just show you real quick. Here are the different breads they're making. Here at Boudin Bakery, they have a Mickey Mouse-shaped sourdough, baguettes. Pretty good bread, and they make it right here on property. You make it here, right? Yeah. Not shipped in. Make it just on the other side of those windows. You can actually watch them making it, but it's not just for show for the theme parks. They use that bread here in the park, so the bread bowls that you get here at the restaurant are the ones that are made inside the restaurant. In fact, they also use them over at Disneyland when you get a bread bowl over at Cafe Orleans or the other little restaurants in New Orleans Square. They're the ones from here, Boudin Bakery. The secret, though, that they never tell you is that if you buy it here at California Adventure, it's fresh made that day. And if you get it at Disneyland, they're a day old. So they take them at the end of the night and they take them over to Disneyland for the next day. That's just a little secret. Still good the next day, but not as good as it is first day at California Adventure. Always thought this photo spot was hysterical. Record catch, get the whole family in that basket of sardines. There's 2 reasons to walk through here right now. One is to enjoy the beautiful view. Enjoy that view. The other is to look at the water line. And why are we looking at the water line? Well, if the water is all the way to the top, it means that Grizzly River Rapids is closed, and that's where we're headed later. So we know right now that it's open and filled with water. So this lagoon is the retaining pond for Grizzly River Rapids. When they need to drain the water out of it quickly, they press a button and boom, within a minute or so, all the water is in this lagoon. And then they pump it back into the attraction to fill it back up. It's a retaining basin that also looks nice and is part of the theming of the park. The useless knowledge you learn when you walk through the park with your dusty sage. I'm going to show you something up here, and I hope that it's fixed, but I have a feeling it isn't. This is Pixar Pier, formerly Paradise Pier. Of course, before the shutdowns, they transformed it all into Pixar theme. Most of the rides stayed. They just changed the theme. But over where the Maliboomer used to be, they put a Inside Out ride. Just a spinner. It's cute. And we'll look here real fast at the lagoon because we're working on Phantasmic, and I will give you a better shot in a second. That's a terrible view looking into the sunlight. We are here at Lamplight Lounge. Last night, I needed a little bit of food. I thought, you know what? I'm going to eat at Lamplight Lounge. They have usually, you put yourself on the mobile wait list. There was no space on the mobile wait list. I walked by this upstairs section with the huge outdoor seating, and there wasn't one person sitting, not one. Today, same thing, no one sitting. Why is that? So I went to the front door and I asked about it and was told they don't have enough staff to run the outdoor bar. So this big, gigantic outdoor bar, quick spot to get food and drink, high profit margin items for Disney, they can't run because they don't have enough staff. That's really a shame, especially since that's tipped position. So the cast members there get paid more than they do in other types of establishments at the resort where you make just over minimum wage. Because here, you get tips. You still can't find enough people to do it. We're right over here. That's Incredicoaster. Used to be California Screamin'. Now it's the Incredicoaster. It's the same ride, but their new soundtrack and a few new little theming elements in the queue and on the ride itself. Famously, Jack Jack is on the ride. There's multiple versions of him, and they're all on sticks, so it looks like the baby has been skewered. So I call it Baby on a Stick. Over here at the queue, you notice they did install these, when they turned it into a Incredicoaster, these big shade canopies, and it helps a little bit. You see those people, it's midday, sun right overhead, and they're mostly shaded. Some spots where they're not. Pretty view here of the lagoon, Pixar Bay, still called Paradise Bay. So you see that there's no seating upstairs at Lamplight Lounge, but downstairs they're seating people. Downstairs is the full restaurant, upstairs is kind of bar food and drinks only. The reason this looks the way it does is in the early concept art, that was supposed to be Mrs. Incredible stretched out above you in that archway. It didn't quite work, so they changed it and they just painted it with some characters on it like that. But originally that was going to be her arms and legs. Hot day and they don't even have the frozen treats cart open. Again, most of the reasoning for that is, well, some of it's crowd level. It's not as crowded today, but you would think that on a hot day they would have all their drink carts and all their frozen stuff open. They don't have enough people to do it.
Get over here!
Let me show you these booths up close. These are the new projector towers for World of Color. They are gigantic compared to the old ones. The projectors were in full view a couple of weeks ago. All of the big doors on the sides were open. I was able to get a good look inside. The new projectors are just absolutely gargantuan compared to the old ones. I hope that means, here we go. I hope that means that the projection for the show will also be brighter. Would stand to reason that they paid money to replace those projectors so that they could enhance the show. It's Mr. Potato Head. I think he must be broken. Not moving. Oh, look at this. Something I've never seen before. They usually close the curtains before they work on Mr. Potato Head, but he's a hot potato. So, Mr. Potato Head, broken cast member, turning his ear around. That's hysterical. Midway Mania is closed, broken down. It's rough on a hot day when things are down in a park like this with few attractions because it makes a big impact. And Midway Mania is one of the most popular rides in the whole park. Many days the line for Midway Mania will be longer than for Spider-Man. And they're very similar rides. I do think Spider-Man is the newest, and so everybody wants to ride it. But Midway Mania is the more entertaining of the two similar attractions. Usually a character out there. It's hot today, so the characters aren't out for as long. They're still out, but instead of working 20-minute sets, they'll work 10. Same thing for cast members that are working outdoors in the sun. They're getting a lot more breaks and water breaks, so they come through the queue, ask somebody if they need a water break, and then they can go get a bottle of water for a second, cool down before going back to their shift. I was talking to a cast member over at Autopia earlier, and he looked like he was going to drop dead. He was sweating really bad, and he was trying to find a little sliver of shade behind the sign, but still was mostly in the sunlight. I felt really bad for him, and behind that was the monorail platform. There's a cast member standing up front, keeping people from getting in line, because the monorail cannot operate in the heat. There's no air conditioning in the regular cabins. They have air blowers, but it's not air conditioning. When the temperature reached 100 degrees, it is just too hot. If the ride would break down with guests aboard, it would just get hotter and hotter and hotter inside. So they shut it down. So it shut down at 11 a.m. this morning and never reopened. Silly Symphony as well. It was down yesterday when I walked by for... Is it down? Oh, for a few weeks.
Yeah, for me.
It's actually down for maintenance. Walk into the Paradise Gardens here real fast because a couple of things that are new-ish back here to show you. First is that Boardwalk Pizza and Pasta has reopened. It's a major establishment with salads and pasta and pizza, and it was closed all this time until just recently, last few weeks. And this is really a great place to dine here, usually, because there's this big giant garden area out here, a lot of tree cover. It's really nice, and there's a stage, and there's frequently live music. Paradise Garden Grill, sadly, has ditched its old menu, so it's open when there's a festival, and when there's not a festival, they've been keeping it closed. It's a shame because it used to have a great menu, festival menu, and that is the char ribs, impossible yarrow, jerk chicken, beer battered fish tacos, which are good, and the brisket fries, which are also pretty good. I'd really like to see them open between festivals and maybe just serve festival favorites and change it periodically, let people relive some of their festival favorites. Cute photo op. That there on the Waiting for somebody to jump in, jellyfish. And the cast were doing this spiel that day. They're doing announcements on the loudspeaker saying, "Welcome to Jumpin' Jellies, and Jumpin' Jellies." And they kept doing it over and over again. I never was happier to leave a place. But cute that they even came up with a spiel. This is probably closed because of wind. The Golden Zephyr, that is neither golden nor a zephyr, is closed whenever it's windy, and it is windy right now. My hair is blowing around. You see the tree moving around there. If you see things moving at ground level, definitely that ride is closed. Get one more shot of the lagoon here. This World of Color returns soon. The 22nd officially will have World of Color, Electrical Parade, and Disneyland Forever. I think there's a pretty good chance you might see some soft openings of some of those things before that. And then 1 month later, Fantasmic returns. In between those dates, Disney World will open their Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind coaster at Epcot. So I'll be going to the opening of Disneyland's nighttime entertainment on the 22nd of this month, and then hopping on a plane to go to Florida for the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy at Epcot. And then I'll get back in time for the opening of Fantasmic here. So there's always something going on. And today we learned that cast members will be able to decide whether or not they want to wear masks indoors beginning on the 13th. So as long as they're vaccinated, they'll be able to go without a mask indoors or outdoors. Their decision. We're also getting character meet and greets back around that same time. Here's some of the merchandise for Food and Wine Festival here. You didn't do a lot for this year. A few purple items, simple logo items, and some glassware. Say I can handle the heat when I'm in the shade. So heading back into an area like this, near Grizzly River Rapids, that's pretty well shaded. It still feels hot, but it's nicer and there's a little bit of a breeze. That helps a lot. Out in the sun, it feels completely different. I always say in a theme park, always find the shade. It's just sometimes hard to do. I will say California Adventure feels a little more crowded than Disneyland. It felt wide open over at Disneyland today. I took some screenshots of the wait times. We'll put that in our Monday update and explain what happens in the theme parks in the heat. I've kind of showed you here as well. I'm going to look at two things in the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail area first before we get on this ride here. And I just want to show you there's a longer line for this one hidden booth. It's called Golden Dreams. It's a very peaceful spot in the park. Lots of trees, lots of water. This wonderful attraction. And I say wonderful attraction, but I'm saying that from memory because I don't often get on it because you get absolutely soaked, but it takes a hot day like this to make me want to ride it. It's that or go over to the Grand Californian and just accidentally stumble into the pool. I'm not a guest. Oh no, I've been pushed. So yes, Redwood Creek Challenge Trail, they're still doing Raya and the Last Dragon meet and greets. We're going to head in for another reason. We're not really going to see Raya, although they have a special map up in the front here. You see it looks like a dragon. So the rivers look like a dragon. It's pretty cool. It's in honor of Raya. Raya came for the Lunar New Year festival, and she was so popular. You see the lanterns in the trees here, and her meet and greet is down there. But she was so popular that when the festival ended, Raya stayed. We're coming back here because there's a little bit of an Earth Day thing that cast members did. And cast members were challenged to make artwork out of trash. And they put it on display back here. They hid it back here, but I think some of it's pretty clever. You see Raya is actually on stage there right now. Her beautiful forested meet and greet area. And here we are, garbage art. Because, oh, you thought today, mice chat video, hopefully they have garbage art. This first piece is inspired by the recent Cruella movie, and that's her garbage dress. If you haven't seen the movie, I was very, very hesitant to see it, but I really enjoyed it. There are boxes where you can vote for your favorite works of art. There's Small World made out of trash. See some tinfoil and old streamers and an old button that's been repainted. Look at these fake trash cans here. Somebody recreated the trash cans from Avengers Campus. Huge infinity gauntlet that somebody has pulled some of the fingers off of. It's a problem with leaving things out where guests can touch them. Kids like to touch things. When it's made out of trash, it doesn't last long. Here's the family Madrigal's house from Encanto. The Encanto experience is going to sort of spread over to Small World for a little while. They're going to do a Encanto projection show. This little fella here. And then an X-Wing. And all of that's made out of cardboard and corrugated and tinfoil and all sorts of things like tissue paper. All garbage. It's a kind of neat thing they've been doing for Earth Day for years now. Sometimes they displayed it over in Downtown Disney. Downtown Disney's got a lot of construction going on right now, so they put it inside the park. This is a good place to do it. This is a very naturalistic setting here. I'll take one quick look around here, and then we're headed across the way to hop on Grizzly. A long line there for Raya. You see how pretty this area of the park is. Am I ready to risk my phone? I would say I don't want to get wet, but the fact of the matter is it's been so hot today I'm already drenched. This ride was down for quite some time this winter, long refurbishment. They didn't make any changes, just requires a lot of winter refurbishment. They tend to take this one and Splash Mountain down during winter months when people are less likely to want to ride it. See a lot of people waiting out in front of the ride. This is the Lightning Lane, and we have Lightning Lane today because we're writing an article about Lightning Lane's impact on the parks. Unfortunately, today was not a very crowded day. So it shouldn't be very long of a line. "55-minute standby wait," which is not terrible considering how hot it is. The Grand Californian here with its beautiful views of the park, and unfortunately, it's too expensive to stay in. Still, they managed to fill that hotel up. A lot of people in this world with money.
Hi there.
So they bring in a standby tour guide to take a tour.
Hi. Hello.
Thank you.
So we're getting ready to go on Grizzly River Rapids because it's a hot, hot day here in the park. For those of you who are just joining, Dusty Sage with MiceChat.com. We've been walking through Disney's California Adventure today. We oftentimes focus on Disneyland because there's so much more going on there, but there was a lot to see over here today. If you would do me the favor here while we're waiting to board, let everybody know that we're about to ride Grizzly River Rapids live with Dusty Sage, and let's see if his iPhone survives. This little covered area right there is where the Fast Pass machines used to be for the ride. They've pulled them all out. This is just a shaded area now with some benches in it, so it's a nice shaded spot to sit and watch. Wait for your family to ride. This line here is for Lightning Lane, so in a way it looks like the Lightning Lane line is longer. It isn't. It looks long because they've got a switchback queue in front of the attraction, whereas the standby line is back there towards the waterfalls that you see in the distance. Once we get up to the merge point here, it should take no time at all. We're very, very close now. My shoes are going to get drenched. That's okay. I'm ready.
He already did us back there. Oh, thank you. David, can you say thank you? Our first time on this one.
Well, guess what? She said that guy that she scared to help her with the ticket. He is the lead for this.
There we go. All right.
That's why I saw him.
That lady held us so long that we probably won't be able to board right away. Yep. All right, here we go. Now we're walking to the dock now, so we'll be on in just a couple seconds. But again, please let everyone know that you're watching Mice Chat live at Grizzly River Rapids, Disney's California Adventure. We're just about to ride and take you with me. Those buckets overhead said, "Warning, you may get wet." That's not a "you may get wet." This is a "you will absolutely get wet."
It'll go slow for a little while, it'll go fast, then it'll go slow and fast.
Welcome, rafters. Please move all the way down before taking a seat. And please fasten your seatbelt and secure your personal belongings.
You may notice that the ride looks a little different from the early days of the park. The paddles and things used to be adventure equipment, so they were brightly colored, red and blue plastic paddles. But when they redid the park to add Buena Vista Street and Cars Land and rethemed parts of the airfield, etc., they made it more of a naturalistic, like old-fashioned national park look instead of an adventure sports theme. Here we go, we're walking down towards the platform now. Almost on. Hang in there with me. The load system for this attraction is pretty amazing. So they hold the raft there, and then those little belts are capable of moving the rafts around so that the exit door is facing the exit platform. Your boat then continues to move, and you're moving at the same speed as the circular exit platform. Almost on. I can feel my underwear getting wet already. Literally the worst ride to ride at the beginning of the day would be this one. Then you walk around with wet shoes and socks and underwear all day long. Sometimes in Florida, when I'm in those parks, it'll rain. It's the same exact kind of feeling. They also have a little space over here where they can pull a raft off to the side, so if there's a disabled guest, they can take as much time as they need to load. You'll see there's a wheelchair over there now, so that boat is already off in the flume. They're sending this family off that way, actually. Just me. Thank you. 22 gold. All right. Hi, everybody. I will try not to get you on the video, but there are people here, folks. Everybody say hi, everybody. Strangers on a wet boat. Yeah, there is a video in progress. It's a long one. All right.
Hello. Welcome in. This is the fun boat.
This is the party boat. The party boat.
Guys, can you bounce for me, please? Yes. Thank you. Okay, guys, enjoy your ride. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, people way up there in the queue.
Wait was worth the 1 minute ride. It was pretty long. We waited. What did we wait? Like 55 minutes. Yeah.
This
I think
ride is about 55 minutes.
the ride is 55 minutes. So I'm saying, as long as your line is as long as the ride should.
Do you have enough room over there?
Yeah, look at her. Look at her.
Oh.
I have my waterproof shoes on. I know, nice. You're prepared. I don't like my back facing it. Oh no, that's the best part. We're all gonna be there.
That's the best part. Is that you think you're gonna go down it?
Yeah, because you're gonna no. Really, the boat's just gonna capsize and we're all gonna fall out.
Yep. The more you tell the universe you don't want to get wet, the wetter you'll get.
I really don't want to get wet.
You're gonna get really sick.
It's a peaceful ride, you know, aside from the screaming, the drenching, it's also beautiful.
It's a nice day to get wet.
Such a nice day, yes.
Beautiful 100-degree weather.
Yes.
To assure a safe trip, remember to stay seated with your seatbelt fastened, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the raft. And be sure to watch your kids. Oh, and never forget, don't feed the bears.
Oh.
Don't feed the bear.
Navegantes para
I
asegurar
know, I was like, I'm hungry.
She was like, good luck. I don't need luck where we're going.
Not one of the speed's picking up. I know.
Water's very good.
Maggie, can go light. You are I got you. I got you.
I needed everybody to get
Water's so high. I always say that every time we walk by the town of the river, I'm like, the water's so high.
Backwards, we're going inside up the lift hill now.
No, I don't mean north. Oh, okay. This is not a natural river. This is the channel line.
We may have gotten dribbled on a little bit. We're already screaming. The interesting thing about this lift hill is all wooden. Many theme parks still use a plastic or rubber belt, or a belt with fiberglass slats, but this one is all wooden. Water spraying out at us.
Oh, you're gonna get sprayed again.
It's just a warm up. It's a warm up.
The pre-rinse.
Here we
go.
That's a fun. Here we go.
False alarm, false alarm.
Oh my gosh.
We survived.
I know you were part of the annoying,
But here we are, like right at the top of the ride, so you're very close to the Grizzly's head up here.
We're going backwards now.
Here we go, into the cave. We're going down, here we go. Wow.
We haven't even gotten that wet yet.
It just started. Barely. I don't know. Oh, look at that. You're screaming.
Here comes the big one.
No, we're backwards right now, so that means we're definitely getting wet. Oh yeah. This is not. Oh my gosh. Oh! That was really cold. Yeah, we're in the unenviable position of being backwards here. We go. We're headed towards the big drop now, folks. This is what you've all been waiting for. Will the phones survive? Will these people in the boat survive? No, only time will tell. Only time will tell.
I thought we already did the big drop.
No.
Oh, I want the biggest drop. Wait, are we all stuck in the big one?
Oh no, difficulties.
I can
We're held up here at the big drop.
Oh, your face is just cracking up.
Oh boy. You wave at the guy in the booth. He holds your fate in his hands. There we go, one just dropped.
We got a good one
Let me
coming.
go backwards. I would very much like to go backwards. Riding.
The ride itself isn't as long as they hold you before the big drop. And the sign there says Grizzly go round.
I got really.
Yeah, you got spots on the side. It got me in the
Really holding us a long time.
Is this something like professional? Are you getting expensive? Crystal's gonna get invested.
100% waterproof sneakers. Stylish. Waterproof. Dry socks. Dry socks.
All right,
Buy 'em.
it's almost our turn to drop.
It's called Bestie.
Bessie. My shoes got wet. I'm definitely stoked all the way to this.
Like holding you, like taunting you, and then black. Is that what that is?
It's an extra long hold. That boat in front of us is going now. There they go over the edge. They're moving us into the final spot.
You have time to go.
Oh boy.
It's big and it's thin.
It's a good drop.
Here we go.
It'll be like 15.
Oh, that's not enough.
It'll be good. You're gonna love it.
Crystal is ready. I'm not ready.
That's a good shot.
It's a great shot.
Oh my god.
Just remember, no flashing and no bad language. It's hard not to when the cold water hits you.
I'm ready for the walk. Let's go. You ready? I know. I'm so excited.
It may spin us on the drop. I think it does. I think you spin.
Here we go.
There we go. Yep. Oh. We did it. We spun. We spun on the top. Now we're going to get a good misting. We didn't get as wet as I thought we would get, but it was a lot of fun.
Good job, team. We'll dry off in about.
And the geysers are turned off because you normally get soaked with the geysers.
It's worth it. It's so fun. Enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourselves. Those are the people waiting in the long, long lines on both sides, bridges.
They're like, you're getting more out of the ride.
I think that was just those couple of beers you guys had before.
Perhaps.
Maureen, thank you so much for watching. My shoes are wet and my pants are a little bit wet, but not too bad. Not as wet as I've been on this ride. My hair is... Does my hair still look beautiful? Do I look okay?
Look good.
All right. See, I'm getting the thumbs up, so it's a good sign. I'm still wet, but
You got pretty soaked too. He's just cool, calm, and collected.
Well, you're the most stressed out of all of us, and you're a little biased too.
Thank you.
here we go. Take a little bit more of the park before we wrap up here, folks, so hang on with me. We're gonna let the ladies out. Again, this brilliant load-unload system, so this belt just keeps moving and you load and unload at the same speed as the belt, so it keeps moving. I love that. And if you're walking like this, it's like a treadmill. Very slow treadmill for old people like me.
Go to gold 22, gold 22, next one, green 25.
Hope you enjoyed riding the ride as much as I did, folks. It's not every day I'm able to take you on a ride with me in the park. We usually just walk around and talk about all the things that are going on. Those folks are waiting there. I believe they are single riders. It's a great way to ride this attraction if you're with a large party of people and you want to get wet real quick. They don't want to ride, just single rider. Yeah, I'm wet. My shirt is wet, but I'm wearing dark colors, which is good. It's harder when you're wearing light colors and then you get wet and it looks like you peed your pants. My team has been watching the video. They're sending me messages.
No, I had to wait. The line was back to here when I got on.
Well, we survived, and the phone survived, so that answers that question. Can you take your new iPhone onto Grizzly River Rapids? Yes, you can. You most certainly can. They used to have a bin in the center of the raft that you could put your things, and they don't anymore. Or was that in Florida at their version of the ride in Animal Kingdom? I literally do not ride this ride very often. It's been years and years. This is the entry gate to Grand Californian Hotel. If you're staying there, you can use that gate to come and go, and they've been making it very hard for guests that live or that are staying at hotels in the area because you cannot enter through the Grand. Only if you're staying at the Grand. But that will soon change. They're building an alternate gate into Disney's California Adventure that will connect into the backside of Paradise Pier over by the corn dog booth and seaside gifts, souvenirs. We're going to take a quick look here at the wait for Sauron. I'm going to show you how short the line is, but that doesn't mean a short wait. So even though there aren't that many people in the queue, and the reason for that is they're letting everybody in Lightning Lane just go right in. And even though there's a short queue here right now for Sauron, it's probably still 45 to 50, 60 minutes even. I'm going to take a look and see. Right now, this isn't soaring over the world, it's soaring over California, so they brought the original version of the attraction back for the Food and Wine Festival. Soaring over California, I did ride it last night. It is the superior version of this attraction. 75-minute wait, folks. That short line that doesn't even go all the way back to the end of the building as it normally does. Just a short switchback outside, and then a long one inside. 75-minute wait. It's hard for you to see because the sign is digital. So to our eyes, that 75 minutes was a solid number, but on the camera it was probably flickering. Humphrey's Service and Supplies here always has some cute things. Smokey the Bear stuff. They're actually selling redwoods. If you need a redwood tree, just buy one and then wait a couple thousand years and you'll have a big, gorgeous redwood in your yard. And they say you can speed that up by singing to them. So maybe in 800 years, if you sing to it every day. Big. Smoke jumpers. And your best bet here is to mobile order everything. They do have some foods for the Food and Wine Festival here right now. A lot of the restaurants do, so even though there are fewer booths, more of the restaurants seem to be participating. Here they have a pepperoni pizza slider with beef and pork sausage patty, pepperoni pizza sauce, mozzarella cheese, a fried pepperoni, and it's served in a ciabatta roll. They have some special lemonades too. I'm not a big fan of the Disneyland lemonades, and I'll tell you why. They're not really like lemonade as much as they are sugar water, and all of them are just too sweet for me. If they made a real honest-to-goodness lemonade with some neat flavors and maybe boba in there or fresh fruit, it would be great. They just make everything too sweet. You're going to see a little bit of the music here, and I'm going to let that be the end of our video. I do love me some Five and Dime. And again, all these stages that you're seeing here around the outside of Carthay Circle Fountain, they're scheduled to go away soon because the characters are going to go back to their regular meet and greet spots, and they'll soon be hugging guests and doing autographs. This is Clarabelle Cow. She's a California classic. One of Walt's earliest characters, Clarabelle, and Horace Horsecollar, Oswald, the Lucky Rabbit. But during the pandemic, they had the characters on stages and then this big space between guests and the characters. But that's all going away. Around the 13th, around the same time that cast members are allowed to decide if they're going to wear their masks or not, the characters will go back to their regular meet and greets from the past. Thank you all so much for watching us. This has been Dusty Sage at MiceChat.com, and we'll be back with you again real soon.